So the problem was that I tore the fascia from my foot all the way up to my hamstring. And it was very difficult because at that point I was a personal trainer at that time, and I was also teaching kickboxing. And it was hard because that was my life for so many years. And I wanted to be able to like continue to make that life, but I couldn't even do yoga. Simple stretches, being on my feet, it was just painful, so I was immobile. So at that point, like the energy I put into being a trainer and being healthy was redirected into being self-destructive. And that was like, what I mean by self-destructive was like eating excessively. I went up to 240 pounds at one point, I think 245, because I was just like, I was used to eating and exercising and losing the weight. But then the eating habit didn't change, but the exercise did. So I became extremely unhealthy. And that is where I say that if like destructive, like some people, like religion is necessary in a sense for some people, so they're not continuing on with bad habits because they're just replacing one thing with another, because we are human beings. We think we're special. We think we kind of float on water and stuff, but we're human beings. We're totally flawed creatures with flawed personalities, flawed traits. Everything about us is flawed, And so, but the problem I have is like the word sin comes from. It's an archery term. It means to miss the mark. Like I make a lot of mistakes. And so being in religion, being, Christian and being in these other religions, like you can't afford to make a mistake. And that's the problem I have. It's like there's so many mistakes that human beings make. I made a ton of them, and I've learned from most, and I'm still learning to learn from my other mistakes. And so I think that's very, very challenging to deal with people like who say like you can't sin, you can't sin. You have to sin in order to be a better person. You have to sin. And so the other thing is like if you saw the Book of Eli, the spoiler alert, like fast forward 30 seconds from now, there's a movie called Book of Eli from Denzel Washington. And he played a guy who was bringing this very precious package, which happened to be a Bible, to the destination, which was in San Francisco. And he knew that if it fell into the wrong hands, it could be weaponized. And that is true. Because in some people's hands, like my friend who goes to church in Pennsylvania, like she's a better person for it. I know many other people are better people for it, like the church in Torrance I was telling you about prior. But there's some people who weaponize that. Like the church in Texas, I think it's called Prestonwood, where they had this elaborate like Santa thing, whatever. They spent $500,000 on it. That's bad. And so, I think it's necessary for some, and it changes people, but for others, it's not so great. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Thank you for listening to me rant. Nothing more precious than time. Thank you for giving me your time.